Do you ever find yourself asking the question, how do I stop procrastinating at work? Now, work is probably the very place that you don't want to be procrastinating. That happens. But let's just address the reason for procrastination. And I think one of the key reasons for procrastination really comes down to fear. The fear of failure, the fear that I can't do it, the fear that people will laugh at me, humiliation, all of those sorts of things. But I think what we need to do is just kind of take a little bit of a step backward and think about it and think, what will this look like or feel like if everything goes well? What could possibly go well? Rather than looking at the negative side of things and thinking about what could go wrong. You see, what we focus on expands. And if we focus on the negative things, we're going to get negative things. We're going to get even more of them. But if we focus on the positive things, positive outcomes, have a positive life stance, then what we'll find is that the positive things will grow in our lives. So we need to look at the fear that we have and recognize it for what it is. The fear that is preventing us from taking the action we need to take. And for many of us, it's going to mean that we need to be courageous. One of my favorite words in the English language. Who knows where it came from? But we need to be courageous and willing to take the risk that everything will end up going well. Everything will be for the best. It takes a risk, right? But often we're not prepared to take that risk because of fear. And we step back and we fail to start doing what we need to do. You see, the way to conquer procrastination is by taking an action and by taking that action now. Don't wait till later, but take an action now. I often talk to my coaching clients about an exercise that I like them to go away and do. Probably in the first session that I have with them, I introduce it. And that is very simple. It's a phrase that I get them to repeat, just 3 words, 50 times in the morning when they get out of bed and 50 times at the end of the day. And that phrase is, do it now. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, and so on for 50 times, both morning and night. And it's just astounding what they tell me about the next time we meet. The difference that is actually made for them. You know, it sounds so corny to begin with. But if that's what you need to do to take action, then start to do that. And think about not so much today and how you're feeling today, but think about how you want to be feeling tomorrow. You see, success breeds success. So by making a start on something today, it means that tomorrow you're not still thinking about making a start. In fact, you can celebrate the fact that the day before you made a start. You see, what you want to do consistently in your life is think about tomorrow and ask the question today, how can I make my life better tomorrow? What is it I can do today to make my life better tomorrow? You see, you are fully in control of it. You're fully in control of how you feel tomorrow by taking the right actions today. So when it comes to procrastination, do you still want to look tomorrow at this thing that you know you need to do? Do you still want to be looking at it, being no further ahead, or would you like to be further ahead? Just that little bit further ahead. You see, it's just a little bit today that will make a big difference to the way you feel tomorrow. And when we feel good about things, we're more likely to feel more motivated to continue, aren't we? So just think about that. Put the fear aside. Be courageous and be willing to take the steps that you know you need to take to move forward. Now, when it comes to taking action, you need motivation. And you may be sitting there thinking, well, how do I become motivated? Because I'm really just not feeling motivated at all today. Well, motivation, my friend, comes about when you start doing something. When you take action is when you get motivated. You don't get motivated by sitting down and just waiting for it to happen. It just doesn't happen like that. Motivation happens as you take the steps towards doing what you need to do. Wow. That's a bit annoying for someone who procrastinates, isn't it? Are you sitting there using the excuse, I'll do it when I feel more motivated? Just think about it. I'll do it when I feel more motivated. How often have you used that excuse? And in reality, you never feel more motivated. You see, friend, the time is to start now. It's time to start now, because waiting for motivation, it'll never come. You get to sit down and listen to motivational speakers and podcasts and all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, the only way that you are going to get motivated is by taking action. And until you take that action, you're not really looking for the motivation. If you look for it, you will find it. And you'll find the motivation in the doing. And once we start to do things, we don't only get motivation, but we also get momentum. We also get momentum. Now, when you think about the word momentum, think about it like this. Have you ever tried to push a car? Pushing a car by yourself, even on the flat, is difficult. And the hardest part of it is getting the car moving. But once you get the car moving, you just have to keep pushing it, but not so hard, and that car will keep on moving. It's great. But the moment you stop, it's hard to get that car going again. So, momentum requires us to keep going and to keep pressing forward, even when things are hard. Even when things are harder than we expected them to be, we've got to keep pushing forward. Otherwise, you'll lose the momentum, and you know where you end up? You end up sitting there again saying, I'm waiting for motivation, because you would have stopped and you would have quit and probably left whatever it is that you needed to do. But we know in the workplace that there is a certain level of accountability, and that accountability requires us to get things done. There is no amount of motivation from anyone else that is going to get us moving. There is no amount of motivation from anyone else that's going to stop us from procrastinating. So I want to leave this with you. Going back to what I was talking about before, think about how you want to feel. Just think about how good it will feel once you've got that task out of the way. Think about the feelings. And then start. Just start. And as you start moving forward, you're going to get the motivation to continue. And as you get the motivation, you're also going to get the momentum. And on you go until the task is completed, no matter how big or small the task might be. Just don't give up. Until next time, all the best around your procrastination. Now go and do what you need to do.